They thought she was finished. But they didn't know who she was becoming. Each day, she steps outside carrying more than anyone can see. The story of Mara. Every morning before the sun learned how to rise, Mara was already awake. Not because she wanted to be, but because life demanded it. Her alarm was not a clock. It was her child's soft cough beside her. She would sit up on the edge of her bed, whisper a prayer she had repeated so often it lived in her bones. Lord, help me today. No long word, no fancy faith, just survival. Mara was a Christian single mother in a world that rarely waited for explanations. Her husband had left years ago quietly, like a door closing without warning. Bills didn't care. Hunger didn't care. Judgment definitely didn't care. People smiled at her in public, but whispered behind her back.
She should have planned better.
Where is the father?
Faith doesn't pay rent.
They didn't see the nights. She smiled and kept walking. They didn't see the nights. They didn't see the nights Mara knelt on cold floors praying. They didn't see her Bible open but tears falling faster than the pages could turn. They didn't hear her remind God of his promises, not because he had forgotten, but because she was afraid she might. Some days, food was simple. Some days, hope was not. She worked hard jobs that barely paid enough and drained everything else. Yet every evening as she came back home and went to pick her child from the kind, elderly woman who helped her take care of the child till she came back, she would wipe her face and smile like nothing was broken, because her child was watching. It seemed the world didn't care. It was just the kind elderly woman, and her words of encouragement that made her felt that at least somebody cared. One night, after a particularly heavy day, her child asked,
Mom, are we poor?
Mara paused.
Then she said,
We don't have much, but we have God, and He's never failed us.
That night, when the house was quiet, Mara did something different. She stopped asking God why. She started saying, Use me. Week passed. Ten months. No one announced Mara's breakthrough. It didn't come with applause or a sudden miracle. It started the day someone noticed. Mrs. Hillary was one of the senior staff Light Core Company. The company was a mid-size corporate company. Mrs. Hillary was a family friend to the Johnsons, the family that Mara worked for as a domestic worker. Mrs. Hillary had seen Mara anytime she came visiting the Johnsons. She noticed that Mara was always early, she was always careful, she was always honest. Whether she was cleaning or running errands, Mara worked like the job mattered. When an opportunity finally came at Mrs. Hillary's office for an office assistant, Mrs. Hillary mentioned it to the Johnsons and expressed her wish to have liked Mara to be employed if she had the requirement of a least certificate. The Johnsons gave her a go-ahead to talk with Mara.
I don't have much.
Mara said quietly,
Just my basic certificate. I can start at the lowest office position.
So Mara became an office assistant. Small desk, simple tasks, long hours, but even there, she showed up differently. She learned how the office worked. She asked questions. She stayed late. She stayed to understand reports she wasn't paid for. At night, after putting her child to sleep, Mara studied. She enrolled in a part-time diploma program. Slow, exhausting, paid progress. Years later, she earned her first college degree. Lightcore promoted her to administrative officer. Then came another decision, harder than the last. Mara went back to school again, this time for a bachelor's degree. While others rested, she revised. While others complained, she prayed. Promotion followed promotion. Department manager, operations officer, team supervisor. Still faithful, still humble, still present for her child, still committed to God. Years later, Mara returned to school one final time, earning a master's degree in business management. When Lightcore restructured its leadership, her name came up quietly, then firmly. Not because she was loud, not because she knew the right people, but because she was consistent. She was intelligent. She was trustworthy. Mara was appointed director of operations. The same company, a completely different seat, the same building. People now watched her the way she once watched others. They wanted her results, her confidence, her peace. But they didn't see the late nights, the prayers whispered over unpaid bills, the studying, the cries, the hard work, the exhaustion, the faith that refused to quit. They saw the success. They missed the process. And through it all, Mara was still standing.
Christ Nation, remember, if you ever need a lifeline, Jesus is our lifeline.